contact with people from a new country, a new region of the world, who shared the same passion as we do here in Poland. One of the amazing things about YouTube and social media in general is its ability to unite people who have similar passions. But before I go into who we are and what we're doing, I want to know a little bit about who you are and what your expectations of YouTube are, so that we have a little bit of extra added context to this webinar and then later to our actual lessons. So I'm going to ask a few very basic questions, and I would like to request that you write your answers in the chat so that Arthur and I can get an idea for who you are. So the first thing is, how many of you have YouTube channels? Please write in the chat. Very good, we have something coming in. Okay, so what is the topic of your YouTube channel? Nora, what do you use your channel for? Okay, for gaming. Interesting. Gaming is absolutely a very popular and in-demand genre of YouTube here in Poland as well. In the United States, it's a huge market. So would you say that in Qatar, the trends in YouTube are similar to the trends in the rest of the world? Use your channel for announcements. Okay, well, if no one else would like to provide feedback, we can move forward a little bit. We are really passionate about YouTube here in Poland for a few reasons. One is the beauty of its power to influence, the beauty of its power to connect people, but also the business behind YouTube, the money that can be earned, the brand propositions that result by using the platform. So a little more about us now. My name is Ryan Sokash, and I have been an enthusiast for show business for over 10 years now. I started with music, playing in bands. And playing in bands was wonderful because you could travel around, you could meet people, you could connect with people. But the difficult thing was earning money from music in this day and age, but also achieving scale, achieving reach. This is what made me more curious about online platforms. I went into radio a little bit. After radio, I went into internet television, where I worked for one of Poland's largest web portals. And when I worked for those portals, I actually appeared in the television shows as a host. Every video would amass around 250 to even 500,000 views. This is epic. These are stadiums that we were filling on a weekly basis. And I put that into the context of other show business. If you put that into the context of music, for example, large brand name bands like Coldplay or U2 will have to tour the entire world, playing arenas every night to amass the same kind of influence, the same kind of reach as we could do on online platforms. So this absolutely changed my perspective of medium. This absolutely changed my perspective of how to reach people, and also I saw some of the monetary values to it. Thanks to the notoriety that I achieved in this television show, I started to work with MediaCraft and built the company here in Poland. I'll elaborate on that in a moment, but first I want you to meet Artur Filipowicz, who works with me here in Poland.
Hi everyone, I'm Artur Filipowicz. In MediaCraft Polska, I work in the production department, where we produce lots and lots of original content. I come from the generation that started to get cheap video cameras that could be used with home computers. And my camera I won in a contest, and I wanted to try what can I do with it. So the first video I made was lightsaber from Star Wars, and I saw that it's very, very simple. And after that, I started making more and more videos, and I got better. After finishing high school, I already made some short films, and I could do my first internship in 24-hour news channel. And then I saw the business part of it, and I could do what I like, and I could earn money from doing the same thing. From that point, I wanted to be more and more professional in the field of online video. From this news channel, I moved to produce some short online content. I was helping one of the members of the European Parliament with his online activities, showing what he's planning, what he's doing, and what does he want to tell to people. And later, I went back to Poland, and I started working in the same company as Ryan in this big news website. There we also produced some news content and also some entertainment, and I could see the reach, which was amazing. It was tens of thousands of people watching the content every day. It was unbelievable, and I could see that this is the future, that the TV where I started with my internship is getting smaller and smaller, and we are getting more influential. And after that, I got a chance to work in MediaCraft, and here we are, gathering tons of talented young people, helping them develop, helping them create successful channels. And as I said before, we produce also our own content. Every week, it's around 20 to 30 videos, and it's amazing. It's really a ton of work, a ton of fun, and a ton of opportunities for the future.
I want to point out a very interesting thing about Artur's history. So I graduated to start the company MediaCraft here. This is where my road led me. Artur was a very, very talented filmmaker, editor, worked for major portals, actually had previously aspired to be a film director, to direct movies and artistic content. And I hope you don't mind me telling them this story, Artur, but I think it says a lot about internet television. Artur was actually rejected from one of Poland's premier film schools. And the reason for his rejection was that the people on the panel had the impression that the video he had made wouldn't be watched by anyone. People wouldn't be interested. What they didn't realize is that Artur had posted this video to YouTube, and it was watched by how many?
100,000.
100,000 times. And so what this signifies is a changing of the guard. Right now with online platforms, this panel of people who would have previously stopped Artur Filipovich from graduating and coming in to being a kind of legitimate filmmaker have become irrelevant, because he could come here, build MediaCraft, build YouTube channels, and reach more people than those filmmakers in Poland could really dream about. Now, you might be asking yourself at this point, what is MediaCraft Polska? And that's a good question, because a lot of people are not familiar with our area of business. It's an emerging business. You might even say that it's a new trend, but it is definitely hyped in Europe, in the United States, and I would imagine in your part of the world as well. And these are multi-channel networks. A multi-channel network is basically designed to help people who curate content on YouTube go to the next level, to help them actually, in a sense, compete with traditional television outlets. So our network has accumulated nearly 500 channels. We make over 110 million views every month on our content. And now content inside of our network is either original or licensed. So licensed meaning we work with partners who create, have their own success, and we monetize those video views. Or the original formats we make here in-house, and we control it a little bit more like a traditional television network would. Now, we are one of the very few companies in Poland that actively produces for YouTube alone. And in fact, we are the most notable ones here. We've had very successful formatting, approximately 25 million views that we create every month come on content that we make here in this office, which has been very interesting because you see the effect. You see the people who appear in the content become recognizable on the street. You see people in the public watching your content on trams, on trains, when they're traveling around. And these multi-channel networks are very important for two things: developing the standards of online television, pushing the standards to the next level, actually helping YouTube become a place where people put out professional content. The second thing is helping creators to monetize their success on YouTube. Because when you become a YouTube professional or an online television professional, one of the challenges you will face, very different than traditional TV, is the fact that you have to be your own producer. You have to be your own scriptwriter. In many cases, you have to be your own cameraman, your own editor. Not many people are willing to make the investment to hire people to fulfill all those roles. So as a sole creator, you have to be very, very independent. You have to be very, very versatile, and you have to be able to make your own success. Now, multi-channel networks, such as MediaCraft, help creators by offering them support in some of those areas. Now, before we move on to the next slide and elaborate further, I just want to give an opportunity. Do any of you have any questions about multi-channel networks, about how we came into our positions here, about MediaCraft networks? Please feel free to write your questions in the chat, and we will be happy to answer them, if you have any, of course. Okay, I think someone is writing, so I will just give it one moment before moving on. Okay, so we will move on. There will be opportunities to ask questions later, should you have them. So, about the workshop, what we are going to deal with when we come and speak to you in Qatar. Okay, before I go into that, I want to see this. How many members did you launch with as a core MediaCraft team? That is a very good question. So when we launched MediaCraft here in Poland, the network was already established in Germany, and it was well established. In fact, it was kind of Germany's premier network. And in Germany, you know, there was a tower, there were offices in Berlin, there were offices in Hamburg, Munich, and Cologne. So they were rock stars already. And here in Poland, essentially, I started from square one and put together the first 15 partners in the first month. In the second month, I hired a second individual, and a half year into it, we became a crew of 5. Now, 2 years later, the company has grown to a crew of about 25 in Poland. And so it was very small stepping stones from the operation in Germany to the operation in Poland. But despite the fact that we were 2 people here, we had a lot of support from Germany. So we were not alone, we were supported. Thank you for the question. Okay, I will move on. About our workshop, we are setting out to help you understand the basics of online television and its marketing phenomenon. Now, this is very simple sounding indeed, but one of the challenges you can face when you approach online television from a professional standpoint is the fact that it's not exactly a prestigious or by some people even respected platform. Much of the time when you tell people that you publish content on YouTube, they'll tell you, oh yeah, my son has a YouTube channel too. He likes making YouTube, he's a YouTuber. And they completely overlook the commercial value, the influential value, and the zeitgeist of this platform. So you really need to understand the basics to understand why this phenomenon is so powerful. There are kind of 2 schools right now. People above the age of 35, they've seen YouTube, but they've seen it because they wanted to watch a fail video. They've seen it because you know, there's something going viral, but they don't realize that there's actual programming done on the platform. And then you have people under the age of 35. And again, I don't know the demographics in Qatar, so I don't know if this is completely applicable to where you are, but where we are, people under the age of 35 have a tendency not to even bother watching traditional linear television because they don't like the fact that they have to amend their schedule to the television. They don't like the fact that they have to watch the television where the physical television is set and the programming is limited. So it's not a very good proposition. So we want you to understand the basics of online television. And this isn't only about YouTube. This is about Dailymotion. This is about Facebook. This is about Spotify. This is about iTunes podcasting. This is about distributing television through fiber optic and satellite, not cables. Okay. We want you to understand how money is being made and how to capitalize on that phenomenon. Now, of course, it's difficult for us to know your ambitions with YouTube. You know, in some cases, money is everything. Money is the whole motivation. In other cases, fame is the motivation. In other cases, a hobby is the motivation. But if your hobby turns serious, if you become recognizable from your YouTube channel, as this format, Tapovedika, behind me, has made Arthur, money starts to become an equation because the programming can consume most of your time, most of who you are. And that will definitely interfere with other aspects of things that you have going on in your life. So it's smart to have at least a basic understanding of how to capitalize on the phenomenon. It's smart to at least have that as a potential for your future. We want you to gain knowledge about the standards of a successful channel. So we have been able to identify in working with hundreds of YouTube channels, some absolute stars, others absolute failures. We've been able to identify some trends that have helped people to really become successful. And as we don't have the time to go into detail on the day, I will summarize one thing for you. It's important to deliver people unique ideas inside of generic packages. So my partner, Levant, who works with MediaCraft in Turkey, he had told me once, no ideas work on YouTube. And when I first heard that, I thought, Levant, that's crazy. You have to be original. You have to do something new. He said, no. Statistically speaking, with so many uploads happening on YouTube every second, someone has tried your idea. Not only has one person tried your ideas, but probably thousands of people have tried your quote-unquote unique idea. And if the idea does not exist on YouTube, there's a big possibility that the idea was not accepted by the general public, that the public didn't react to it. So the trick is to deliver formats that the public accepts, deliver formats inside of genres that they like, but make it unique in your own way, and then you can expand upon that and go your own direction later. So I really want you to understand why trends are important for success, what those trends are. We will speak of our successes, we will speak of our failures as well, to help you replicate what we've done well and to help you avoid what we've done poorly. We want to help you gain knowledge on how to research and identify competitors so that you can find your niche in the online TV landscape. And now, competitors is an interesting thing in what we do because right now online TV is only about 7 years old. This is a very new phenomenon, so there's lots and lots of space for everyone. Even in America, even in the United States. This is so new and so unprecedented that people are able to really find their own niche audience. Now's a good time to get into it. The competing aspect of having a channel comes later when you want to monetize, because campaign funds are limited, marketing budgets are limited, and therefore you need to make sure you identify who your competitors are and how you can deal with them in a situation where they're trying to take the campaign that you would like to do. This gives you a good edge. This gives you a good angle for success as a professional inside of online television. We want to help you gain knowledge on the positive and negative aspects of branding and how it affects the audience. So in the past, YouTube actually gave you the possibility to almost completely customize your channel. You could set up your own HTML and put your own backgrounds in, but what they found is that it made for a very messy and sloppy user experience, especially when you were doing syndication on multi-platforms like telephones, tablets, and computers. So YouTube has really simplified this to a few basic elements. You have your banner, you have your thumbnail, you have your metadata. Am I missing anything? Yeah, those are the basics. And so what you need to do is figure out how to optimize those 1000% so that the public will react to them, and also how to identify when the public is reacting negatively to your branding, because that really helps give you a sales pitch. We want to help you have the practical skills necessary to start a successful channel. So as an example, and this kind of ties into the branding, if you don't understand how to package metadata and thumbnails together, you will never make views. YouTube is very smart. YouTube is smarter than you are. You will never trick the system. Basically, content wins every time. But you need to make sure that people have incentive to view your content. And you do that with the metadata and thumbnail. Now, where we used to work in Wirtualna Polska, this large web portal, they used clickbait. So they would put a photo that you couldn't resist clicking. But the photo, an icon, would not necessarily represent what the actual content was. And that's fine for them, because they showed their own commercials, they got paid, didn't matter to them if you watched the show or not. But on YouTube, if you don't drive watch time, you won't have good positioning. So clickbait doesn't work. You have to actually have both things, the good package and the good sales pitch. We want to teach you how to do that based on our experience. And we want to give you a kind of step-by-step guide on how you can start your channel from square one and take it into the big times, or maybe just approach it as a hobby. Before I move on, I just want to give an opportunity. Does anyone have questions about anything that I have just discussed, or maybe suggestions about what you would like to learn during the webinar? Please feel free to write in the chat. Don't be shy. We don't bite. Okay, if there are no questions or suggestions, we will move forward. I'm going to hand it over to Artur Filipovich.
Hello, I wanted to talk a little bit why do we talk about online television and why it's so important. I think there is a question. No, someone joined us. Okay, so why online television? So I prepared here some statistics that are very interesting. We'll start with the first one. In 2011, US adults spent 40 minutes watching online video per day. In 2015, it was almost 2 minutes. Oh, sorry, my bad. It was 40 minutes in 2011, and in 2015, it was almost 2 hours. That means in just 4 years, it's more than a half. So it's definitely growing, and it's growing with the cost of traditional media. That means if that trend continues, in 2020, it will be twice as big, and that shows how many more people are joining and how much more time people are spending watching online television. The other statistic is that in 2013, only 23% of people watched digital video on tablets, and in 2015, it was 48%. With smartphones, it was from 26% to 56%. So that's also a growth, and that also shows that people prefer to watch the videos wherever they go, wherever they want, and on devices they have every time with them. So this is very important when you prepare your videos, and we'll talk about it, because not only you can prepare videos that are easy to, much more easy to watch on these devices, but you can also check how many % of your audience is watching your shows on smartphones or tablets or even TVs with access to the internet. This is very, very important because, as an example, we can talk about thumbnails. If the thumbnail have a lot of text that's very small, no one can read that on the cell phone or the tablet. But if you are watching your stuff only on the big computer screen, you will never know, for example, how your typical viewer can see it. So that's very, very important to check it. We'll explain that on the workshop. Next statistic is that 62% of 13-year-olds in the United States would try a product suggested by a YouTube personality, and only 43 would do the same with TV or movie star. Here in MediaCraft, we created some stars. In the beginning, we wanted to make our first show. We gathered a group of talented people we had trust in, and we started producing our own content. And right now, it's unbelievable, because if we go to a place, for example, a YouTube meetup, there's a whole line of kids waiting to sign an autograph or just make a photo. And I have to say that I'm one of those people, because I was the first MediaCraft star, and right now my channel has 400,000 subscribers. And many times when I go back home from work, I'm getting asked by random people to have a photo with them or to sign an autograph. And it's unbelievable, because right now we can create stars. We can create people who will give interviews in the newspapers, they will appear on the radio, maybe even in traditional TV. And right now it's very simple, because we have the tools to create new shows. In the beginning it was hard because you have to promote it, but right now if we want to create a new show, we can recommend it by our own people, and then it's getting much easier to promote it. Also, when it comes to statistics, it's very important, because the trust of recommended product is very important for the people who want to pay to promote their stuff. So if we want to talk about, for example, a video game our creator likes, people will believe that this game is good if he can recommend it. Of course, here there's no lying. People will check that, and if you promote something not from your heart, but just because someone paid you, they will not like this kind of star. And another statistic is that 300 hours of video is uploaded to YouTube every minute. That's immense amount of content. Said before me, if you have an idea, it probably was made in some other part of the world or in your country on YouTube. And it's very important to check what's going on there. And it's not possible to see everything. That's why there's always place for new stars and for new channels. It's very easy to just join in and find your spot. It's like never enough. It's 300 hours every minute, but it can still grow, and it's still growing, and it's still developing. Another important statistic is that the YouTube star PewDiePie earned $12 million in 2015, and that's amount that many huge companies can't earn in a year. And it's one single person recording his movies in a simple room. And to show you how it looks like, maybe probably you know him, we'll show you some videos, and I want you to think before I start how many views they could possibly have. So we'll start with the first one.
There's something over there. Doesn't look nice. Hi there.
So that's fragment of the first video. As you can see, it's very simple. It's gaming channel. The main star is commenting the games he's playing. The other channel is a comedy show, and it looks like this. As you can see, already it's very, very simple. And the third channel I will show you, it's Star Wars parody.
my father!
No, I am your father.
What?
Wait, no, I'm pregnant and you're the father.
What?
I mean, you're pregnant and I'm the baby.
What?
And these are 3 examples of channels that actually are very, very huge. The truth is they are one of the biggest channels on YouTube in the world. And as you can see, like 2 of those videos didn't really see very professional. They were made in the living room. The lighting wasn't perfect. Star Wars parody looked very good, but in the other 2, it wasn't made in a TV quality. And let's see the statistics of these 3 channels, and I will tell you how many views these videos had. So here we have the first gaming channel. It's PewDiePie with 41 million subscribers, the one I talked about before. The videos, like the whole amount of videos on his channel is more than 10 billion. And about the video I showed you, when he just comments on a video game, it's 2.5 million views. The other channel is made by a comedian, and he's just making sketches. This video with Santa Claus was watched 10 million times. And the third one is a channel called Smosh. This Star Wars parody had 3.5 million views. And this is extremely important when talking about YouTube, because that means investing money don't necessarily mean the views will get better. Sometimes it's more about character, because we could see even in these short clips, these clips that had not even more than a minute, that the character is driving it forward. It was fast. It was something that you can't see on the TV. It's another kind of emotions you can show to your viewers. And also it's something very fast, because right now we are having less and less time, and that means we can only spend, for example, 3 to 5 minutes to watch a video. For example, when we are in a bus, or we're in a train, or we go back from work. So this is different kind of content for different kind of people, and as you can already say, it's more appealing to younger audience. On the workshop, we'll talk about the channels we created. We will go through the way to the career of the channel. And we'll talk about my channel as an example, and I will explain you how we went from the beginning, from the start, from the beginning to the finish, how to make a successful channel. We'll talk about first viewers, and later developing your audience, trying to know them, getting to know what they like, what they don't like, and the importance of Google Analytics. Because everything we do on YouTube can be easily analyzed. To gather the information about how many viewers we have on the TV, who they are and what do they want. On the TV, it's very hard. You can do it only with special devices, checking not every statistics, but on the video, like on the YouTube video, we can clearly say who our audience is, where they come from, who they are, and what they like and don't like. The question that appeared here is, how can a person gain profit from the number of viewers? So, number of viewers is also the number of views. The subscribers amount doesn't really count, because channels that doesn't really have many subscribers but have a lot of views. And if your video can have commercials in, like cool commercials, then every view can give you money. And about types of commercials and how can you earn the money, we'll talk on the workshop, like we'll give more info on the workshop. But important thing to remember is also that not every view is necessary. Ryan wants to add something.
Yeah, I can just elaborate a little bit on that question, because I actively work with our sales team here. And there are essentially 3 ways that people can profit from views on YouTube. Not to go too far off track, I just want to give you a more developed answer on this question. First thing are Google standard ads. So when you create a YouTube channel right now, so long as you obey the rules and regulations and live in a country where their service is available, I didn't check if it's available in Qatar, but I believe that it must be, so we can verify that later. They will actually post 3 different types of ads on your channel, depending on its viewership, who's watching it. Some demographics are more valuable than others, so there are pre-roll ads, skippable pre-roll ads, banner ads, and then companion ads. So some are more intrusive than others. The amount of money that you get per commercial shown actually heavily depends on where the viewer is coming from. For example, the CPM in Russia is higher than the CPM in Poland, but the CPM in the United Kingdom is about 3 times higher than either of those. So this is why people like international viewership. The second way you can get paid for your views is advertising special product placement. So this webinar is brought to you by Novak water. Yeah, simple, classic stuff. In Poland, that's a very, very attractive means of advertising because our CPMs are low. So that's actually the way people can make their living. Third way is branded content. So if you go to youtube.com and you look at GoPro's channel, this is actually owned by them, created by them, and the people who create that can earn money by producing, promoting, and implementing. So those are the kind of basics. I'll let Archer just continue with what he was saying.
Okay, so someone else joined us. So what I would just finish talking about Google Analytics. So even with adverts, we can see what people like and what people don't like. We'll go through with that and talk about the whole analytics system and what we can check and what we can analyze on the workshop. But it's very important to check it every day, every week, to know what your audience, who your audience is, and what they like and what they want. Because you can really clearly say, for example, if your video is too long, because YouTube can show you where your viewer turned off the video. So if it's boring, they will just turn it off in the middle. So maybe we can talk about who should know about a YouTube channel, who should get to know what YouTube channel is and how does it work.
One of the most common questions that I receive from people who I meet at public speaking events or students who come visit our office sometime is, Ryan, is YouTube right for me? Is this the right place for my content? And I believe that that really depends on a few different factors. One, what is your purpose? What is your motivation? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? I would say that YouTube is the right place for you if you're looking to reach a monetizable mass of sustainable audience. So we have a few different types of examples of individuals who might use YouTube as their platform. I'm going to start with one that might be a little bit less obvious: musicians. So let's say that you have a band. Why would YouTube be interesting for you? Well, there's the obvious benefit of the fact that if you make a vlog about your band, it's one way to reach more potential fans and then promote your music. That's actually part of the reason that I got into YouTube in the beginning. However, for bands that are established, being on YouTube is an absolute must, because by being on YouTube, you have the possibility to claim content that you own, which is uploaded by other people. So one of the artists that we represent is named Happy Sad. You can look them up on Google. I can write in the chat for you here. Check out their channel. And while their channel is not the most beautiful channel our network represents, they're a very major band in Poland. And the benefit of that channel is not for the views the channel alone creates, but by the views that we create by claiming content. So try to simplify this for you. Here's Happy Sad channel in this hand. Here's your channel in this hand. Your channel uploads 5 seconds of a Happy Sad song. Because we have reference material on the Happy Sad channel here, we're able to actually claim this content, and we can either remove it from YouTube, we can monetize it, or we can release it, depending on the circumstances. The most attractive thing to do is to claim the content and monetize it. So, in a sense, by you going to a concert and uploading Happy Sad song to YouTube, you did them a favor because you've created views for them. if the content is claimed. So YouTube is an amazingly powerful tool for rights management. It's a great way to control the content you already have. Another maybe less obvious candidate for YouTube are companies. I know a guy in the United States who has an automotive company. He builds car parts for kind of classic American, 1960s, 1970s car. And he advertises inside of magazines. And his advertising budget is quite large for such a small company. And I asked him, I said, so, what is your return? What is the conversion rate that you receive from the advertisements you run to promote your company? He said, I don't know. There's no way I can answer that. Well, there probably is a better way to answer that question than I don't know. YouTube can definitely help you determine a conversion rate, because if he were to start up a channel based on tool and die, based on classic cars, he could generate viewers from around the world who also share his interest and passion for American muscle cars. Obviously, once he has that audience, he can monetize in a very different way. He can monetize by plugging his company. He can monetize by promoting his company and actually increasing sales based off of YouTube. So it's a very, very good place to be for companies, for small companies, and for large companies. Advertisers. If you plan to reach a demographic under the age of 35 in the part of the world where we live, YouTube is an absolute must, because it is very difficult to influence people in other platforms such as radio, television, and newspaper, as they simply don't have the engagement. Now, there's another side to that coin. We're still having a very hard time influencing people above the age of 35, but we're actively working to change that, to improve that, and to get to these people. Arthur has two other points that he can mention here.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about creator. Creator in general is someone who wants to share the content he creates. Whether you want to share some holiday video with your family, or something that you saw on the street, or something that you just want to share with the world, it's good to know how to do it. Not only because it can be, like for me, the start of your passion, that you would just edit a video and you just like it so much you want to share it with others. That's one way. The other way is to just hold a private account, because it's a very simple platform, and it's a very simple platform to just share your memories or something that you saw or like. But here it's important to know how it works, because if you want to put your favorite song to your holiday videos, it can easily get deleted and you can have troubles with showing to everyone else. So it's good to know the rules, even if you don't plan a YouTube career. Even if you plan to go small, it's very important to know the basics, to maybe even start something big, maybe even earn money on that. So whatever you create and whatever your plans are, it's good to know the rules, and it's good to know the basics. The second kind of people is private users, and by that I mean people who don't really produce content but only watch it. So for example, if you had your favorite TV show on YouTube and it disappeared one day and you can't watch it anymore, if you know the rules and you know how it works, maybe you will know why. Maybe it was there illegally and just someone decided to delete it. But YouTube is also a social media platform. Below the videos, there is tons of very interesting discussions. So it's an amazing way to get into a new community, for example, community of fans of certain category. If you like cooking, maybe you will find some extra cooking tips in the description or in the comments section. So it's a good way to communicate with people, to create certain types of chats and make new friends. So for private users, it's also important to know it, especially if you want to know new ways of watching YouTube, because you can create your own playlists to have your favorite music in one place, or you can for example, find certain new channels in a way you didn't even imagine. Not talking, of course, about watching on different platforms, because right now there are lots of ways to watch YouTube on different devices. And the third and most obvious category is filmmakers. So if you want to be a pro, if you want to show to the world your film art and what you do and what you like, as a filmmaker, it's a great platform to share it with the world and monetize it. Because if you are making movies, you don't need special big budgets. Right now, with small budget, you can be a filmmaker known to the world. And here, maybe it's connected a bit with musicians, but there's a violinist called Lindsay Stirling, and she was in one of the talent shows where she didn't win, but people liked her, and she started her own music channels and right now she's one of the most famous YouTube musicians with new music videos every 1 or 2 weeks, international tours, and lots of money going on her account every month.
And the funny thing about that channel is the fact that she actually went on one of those idol shows, and I believe the judges said something along the lines of, there is no place for a violinist like you in this world. Now she's a huge top star. So I would like to show you guys a little bit behind the scenes of our workspace. I think that it's important for you to see where we're coming from and how a company that works on online platforms actually works. And most people haven't seen a place like this. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but I think it's important that you know it exists. So Artur will play the role of the cameraman, and I will give you a little bit of a tour. So right now we're sitting in our conference room, which is primarily used by our sales team. And as any business, conference room is important, standard, and yeah, not very interesting, but we'll go to the rooms where the actual magic happens. So people are packing up to go home for the day. This is Wojtek. He's our office manager, receptionist. And here's our network operations room. And people have gone home for the day. But in this room, we actually work with the partners that we've acquired. So they come here, they film, they cross-promote. Cross-promotion is a simple but very important vector of making a career on YouTube. We'll talk a lot about that during our actual meeting in Qatar. But this room comes into play very, very often for that purpose. The partners build their own sense of community here. They bond with the network here. They bond with each other here. And this place, maybe it sounds funny, this couch specifically is a kind of iconic place in Warsaw, as millions upon millions of video views have come from this spot where I'm sitting right now. So advertisers are keen to get their products here. Younger YouTube stars are keen to come film here, and it's simple, but it works. One of the challenging things with having YouTube stars come to your office is that they don't necessarily understand the nature of a corporate office. So our partner managers, actually we have 3 of them right now. We'll hire another one. They sit here, they work here, and sometimes it can be a little bit distracting. So this mix of business people and creative people can definitely be challenging at times, and we try to keep the partners contained to this room when possible. The other important thing that happens from here is the implementation of campaigns that we sell for YouTube. So when our sales team makes a deal, sells it, sets it up with the partner managers here actually go ahead and implement those deals. All right, let's go on. So that is the network operations room. And this is one of my favorite places. It's quiet right now, but it gets quite hectic in here during the day. This is our production suite. So we have, on average, 5 to 7 people working here every day. And the thing that's amazing about this room and the thing that's amazing about this team is the fact that these people produce around 25 million views every month from this room. And if you think about what equipment was needed in the old days of linear television. You know, our predecessors, the people who invented the television industry, must be very confused when they come and see a quite simple but well-composed room with a couple of Macintosh computers and external hard drives, you know, as the place where the magic happens. Back here is Arthur's work spot. He's filming Top 10 in here. So Top 10, Arthur's show, is a voice show. It's narrated. But we needed to be able to sell campaigns on the channel, so we needed to make Arthur a star. And therefore, he appears at the end of every video like this, and basically he says that, hey guys, thanks for watching. Check out our other channel, check out Punky, and that's it for today. Piona! And Piona's like, high five! So when we go to the events and Arthur meets his fans, it's pretty funny because they're always, high five, high five! You know, but this is where he does it. This is a little bit of a mess right now. Apologies for that. But this is another studio set called So Kasha. So it's beauty and lifestyle. And Kasha appears in this setting. It looks nicer when it's lit. And it kind of looks like a girl's room. And this is a good example of us honing in trends. You know, we have the light set up. We identified a lot of the things that make a popular lifestyle channel. We film it right here. It's simple, it works, it's growing. Let's move on, shall we? So another one of the challenge has been acquiring these plaques. Google, every time you get 100,000 subscribers, Google sends you a nice little plaque to congratulate you on your board, and yeah, we have 3 of them here. We have a couple more on the way. This is our guitar room. We have a lot of fun things around the office. For example, we did an episode about guns, which was quite unusual, and so we have framed up these crazy targets that the guys had. And so the important thing about creating a company like this and working with talent like we work with is making an environment that they understand, making an environment that's fun for them, and you know, literally putting our stars on the wall. This is DG. He's extremely famous. This is Ola. She's a smaller channel, but has a very, very high monetary value. Olczek, who's just turned 18 years old, rock star. Carolina, one of our biggest, one of my favorite stars. Brands love her, demand her. In our kitchen, we do film some cooking shows. So it is a kitchen, but it is indeed a studio. If you look up at the ceiling, you'll soundproofed. We have daylight temperature lights that we use in here, and we try to make every area a potential set. So, for example, if every studio is full and you need people to film, suddenly the kitchen becomes a forest. And you can film there. So it's very important to have dynamic and easy to use, available backdrops. We have a gaming suite where we film gaming videos. It's a touch messy right now. Apologies for that, but that's the nature of creative people and creative spaces. And we film gameplays here, but we also film other formats inside of this space. Gaming is not our strongest point, I will admit that, but it is an important trend. So this is the gaming room. And we're always shifting things around in here. We're always building things. We're always making them bigger. This is Zuzabanshi, I think our second largest channel in Mediacraft Networks with nearly 500,000 subscribers. This is Grzegorz, known as Dakan. He's kind of the legend of the Polish internet. He works for us here at Mediacraft. And in this room is our sales team. Okay. Well, we make the sales deals happen here, and Wojtek is a little bit busy, so he wants us to get out. He told me that, I'm not very professional right now, so apologies. But anything for you. And this is our green screen setup. Sometimes if we need something bigger, we can go to Berlin because Mediacraft Networks has some studios there as well. But this serves its purpose. If this mobile green screen is too small, we can actually remove it and use the bigger one behind. And that it's taped up. You mind if I move it? We have a third set, which is kind of a cityscape like Warsaw, so we can do talk show kind of formats. And yeah, what we've learned is that it's very, very important to have dynamic space that is adaptable to different needs. You can film a huge array of different topics, formats, and so on and so forth. And yeah, we've also hung backdrops in this studio, so we have multiple backdrops. If you need something that looks a little bit more classic, a little bit more, you know, old school, if I might say, you would use that. So this is the gist of it. But one of the things we learned is that it's important to film out of the studio as much as possible, because YouTube audiences are used to seeing people from their home. They're used to the authentic backdrop of a home, and they don't always respond the way we would like them to when they see that a company is producing the content. So we try to really keep it real in a sense. And if you are going to set up a YouTube studio, you need these lights, because when every room is a studio and everyone in your office is filming all the time, well, plenty of problems can arise. So that's our space. This is where we spend our days. We travel a lot. We film a lot outside of Warsaw and in different countries. We hope to film some things even when we're in Qatar, maybe with you guys, if we would be so lucky. It's going to be an amazing experience. And a few closing thoughts. Before we come see you on the 30th of January, 2016, at 10 a.m., I want you to think about why YouTube can be of importance to you, what you want to do with YouTube. Once you know those things, based on our experience, we will be happy to tell you, in our opinion, how you can do those things, how you might achieve them. And there's no one-size-fits-all solution. This is an emerging industry. This is a developing industry. People are still indeed learning. We're still learning. And by connecting, joining minds, speaking with other people, learning other experiences, we can really help push this thing to the next level. So Artur has a few expectations of you to prepare before the meeting.
Yes, there are a few things that would be really not necessary, but it would be important if you do it before we meet. It would be setting up a Google account, and if you have a Gmail account, then that means you also have a Google account. And from there, going to creating a channel, it's very simple. Later, you can explore YouTube, think about the topics you like and you are interested in, see channels maybe even you don't like, and you can ask us why people watch that. We know why people watch gaming videos, and we can explain to you that if you don't understand the phenomenon, we can understand it on the workshop. Of course, prepare questions. If you have anything on your mind, we'll be very happy to help you and answer. And I think that's it.
Yeah. I would just like to close by saying two things. If you would like to, I hope it's okay with the promoters that I suggest this, but if you would like to reach out to us directly with any kind of questions before the workshop or suggestions, feel free to contact us. For example, some of you have already contacted me on Twitter, but if you look me up, you can write to me. Artur's also available there. Did I write it correctly? Yeah. So you can also reach out to Artur directly there, and we're happy to respond to any messages, questions that you might have. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, I just want to say that it is an absolute honor and privilege to have the opportunity to come and share what we hold so dear with you. And we really, really hope that you're able to take away something valuable from the experience. As we know, we will certainly take away valuable knowledge of our time with you. So before we log off, are there any questions? Feel free to ask. Okay, I don't see anything. So yeah, that is all for now. And we look. Oh, is there a question coming in? No. Okay. Well, anyways, you have our contact. You can get in touch. I'd like to thank you for your time and effort. Our pleasure. Our honor. Okay, guys. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.